It's March now, February 2025 is over, and I'm gonna let you guys know what I consumed this month. I watched 34 movies this month, and now we are currently at 65 for 2025. Just like last month, I'm only gonna be going over the movies that really stuck out to me rather than going over every single movie that I watched. If you are curious to see everything I did watch though, feel free to check out my letterbox. And don't worry, there won't be any spoilers in this video. Tampopo, very cool movie, very fun, a lot of energy to it. This movie had a lot of vignettes to it, and I didn't know that until a little bit into the movie when I realized that there were different characters going on and stuff. But this was such a fun movie. If you like ramen, check this one out. This is one of those Japanese movies that I've been wanting to check out for a while, and I'm so happy that I finally watched it. So I did a lot of Oscar movie watching during February. So there were a couple weekends I had where pretty much everything I watched were nominated films. So I was a big fan of Better Man. This was something that I really just wasn't expecting to have so much fun with. I've never really been familiar with Robbie Williams prior to this film, and taking the way that they were able to do this whole CGI monkey thing just worked so well. If you saw my Oscar video, I went a little in depth about that too, but this was just such a cool movie to me. I don't know, monkeys are always gonna be so cool, if it's on the big screen. And the fact that they did this for a biopic is just still such a cool idea to me. Another movie I really enjoyed as well was Nickel Boys. This was just such a powerful film. I don't know, the way that they did this one too, having that first person view for basically the whole movie, it's just so cool. I was a little afraid of it being kind of gimmicky, but that wasn't even a thought during this whole movie. And a big shout out to the two main actors for this one. They were able to bring so much life to really just make this movie work, whether they were the ones in front of the camera and being able to make that connection of first person just so good, or if they were the ones that were behind the camera and it's, you're looking through their vision and just the way that they're talking, it's so cool. It's crafted so well. So just big shout out to everyone involved with this movie. Another Oscar nominated movie I watched this month was The Brutalist, and I'm so happy I got to watch this one as well. Of course, being 3.5 hours, having an intermission, there's gonna be a lot to it, but it was just really heavy with just a lot of stuff. And I think that the first half was such a great film. I'm still thinking about it. I think that was so great. The second half does have a little bit of other stuff kind of going on that I wish was tied up a little bit differently, but hey, overall as an experience, this was something really interesting to watch. Good stuff from Adrian Brody, as well as everyone involved behind the camera. I know this was also shot with VistaVision, and just the way the colors and the format, just another good one, another really good one I would definitely recommend. If you only have time for one international film that was nominated for the Oscars, definitely check out I'm Still Here. This is definitely one of those movies that you watch and you're just like damn, that was a heavy movie. Lady Snowblood was my 50th movie that I watched this year, and I know this was something that had inspired Quentin Tarantino for his Kill Bill movies. I'm always gonna be watching those classic movies that people deem, and this month I was able to watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit finally for the first time, and this was so much fun. This was a great time. This is just one of those styles of movies that I wish kind of still was being made more often. Obviously, people don't really care for the whole CGI stuff like that nowadays, and sometimes it just doesn't really look good. But having the cartoons with the real life is always gonna be something that I will find interesting and just fun. A few years back, there was that new Chip 'n Dale movie that came out, and I actually really enjoyed that, because same kind of thing. I will always appreciate that kind of wackiness when it comes to these movies. And so seeing something like this that's kind of the first one to really do that type of stuff was really cool. Also, finally watched The Sandlot. Fun little baseball movie. Those are the movies. Now let's move on to music. So I listened to 2,446 minutes of music this month, which is just about 41 hours. Kicking it off with artists, The Alchemist is gonna be my most listened to artist for the month. 320 minutes, great to see. I know that I had mentioned him in my January video as well as my 2024 video because he always just has great stuff and I always find myself listening to him. And then we see Larry June and 2 Chainz at the number 2 and 3 spot. Makes sense because all 3 of them dropped an album, which I'm pretty sure is gonna be my number 1 album for this month. And then we have Men I Trust at number 4 and Mike at number 5. So great stuff. My top song is About to Lose It by, I wanna say it's LG or LJ. I'm not sure how to pronounce their name, so I apologize if you ever stumble across this video. But yeah, this is some random song that just really has been in my rotation. Check it out if you wanna just find a new song. So I actually just realized that my top 4 songs all have the same amount of plays with 13. I'm not sure why About to Lose It is my number 1 spot rather than any of the other 3, but I'll take it. All 4 of those songs are good stuff anyway. LLC from that Life is Beautiful album is definitely gonna be one of my favorites from it. I Can't Wait to Get There. That's gonna be one of the only songs that really stuck out to me from that Weekend album. And then we also have Douya and Epiphany, some other good stuff. Life is Beautiful as my top album of February. Not surprised by that. Another album that I really just played throughout the entire time. Like what I was saying with the artists, I will always just appreciate The Alchemist's work and the way that he's able to work with so many different artists and make their sound really just come alive through his work. So good stuff. Men I Trust came out with another live album. There's a lot of songs from Men I Trust that they were able to do these kind of new versions of on this album. So it was great hearing kind of like a little refresh or just a new take on some of these songs. Showbiz still being there, great stuff. Uh-Oh, Berry Blue, little underrated electronic album, definitely check that out too. And then we got West Side Gun's 12 album, which honestly wasn't all that to me. There's a good couple songs there, but it's probably just gonna be there because I give it a good listen. We do have some milestones too, so that's pretty cool. So on the 6th, I reached 2,500 minutes. Cool, I'll take it. I mean, once again, these are stats that are just happening just as I'm listening. So it's not like I'm like trying to like beat anything or get it by a certain day or anything, but it's always cool seeing these. I will always appreciate fun little stats, so you guys will always see that through my videos. My 250th different artist that I listened to was reached on February 13th, as well as my 500th unique song. So good stuff. For TV, I've still been hooked on the season 2 of Severance. And lastly, when it comes to basketball, I'm always gonna talk about my Lakers. They had a really successful month. Obviously that whole Luka trade happened and they went 10-2. Could have been 12-0, but we're slowly but surely getting closer to the playoffs. So I'm just hoping we stay in that kind of like 1 to 4 seed area. I just don't want to be in the play-in this year. The NBA All-Star Weekend also happened this month, but you've probably heard about it from other outlets. I don't need to talk about how bad it was. So that's what I consumed in February. Let's see what I consume next month.